Castor is working with the tarp today, so I'm just gonna put it underneath the panels and just use protective contact. He probably doesn't need to, but I like to introduce it that way. He's seen the tarp, he's touched the tarp, but he hasn't gone over it. I don't think he's gone over the plastic, but I don't think he's gone over the tarp. But I'm just gonna kind of use the same process I did with the surcingle and with the plastic and stuff like that. Is I just have him follow me or follow my target and go ahead and go over the tarp, and he kind of misses it there. No big deal. He probably doesn't know that's exactly what I want, and as soon as he puts a foot on it, I'm gonna click and reward him. So I might need to move the tarp a little bit so that he can go ahead and go over it. Maybe stick it in a little bit, but this way he can experience it at liberty. He doesn't have to go over it. Nobody's making him, and I'm not in the way. So then I'll click and reward for that. That's what I want. I want him going over the tarp, and even if he just touches it with his foot. So now I'm going to reward him here, and I can click and feed while he's on there. And this is why I want to do it in protected contact, is because if I was in the pen and he were get scared, like he could just jump on top of me. So it's kind of dangerous to get real close and give him rewards and things like that. But here, like I can reward him, and if he did get scared and jumped away, it's not a big deal because he's in there and I'm on the other side. So that's the main reason I like to do that. So that was a nice little session with the tarp. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move him over here. We're gonna work on his feet a little bit more. So I'm just gonna throw his halter on and just kind of mix it up. So this is pretty new for him. He's done this a few times, but having his halter on, having the lead rope over his neck, and then working with his feet. And I'm still using a mounting block because I'm going to work on his hind feet, and that's still fairly new for him too. So I kind of just do everything in steps. But I'm using that halter rope more just to move him around and kind of toss that over him, and he's pretty cool with all that stuff. So that's what we want, is just getting him used to just being a normal horse basically. And then I'm going to work on that hind foot. So he kind of wants to move it a little bit. There we go. Perfect. I just want that gentle movement upward, and I click while I'm holding it up, and then I'll go ahead and feed him. So you saw in the last video that I was working on that right side. So this is just his left side, and it looks pretty good. But I want the toe lift in response to my hand, and then I pick the foot up. And he's kind of moving around a little bit. Um, I don't want him to just fling his foot up when my hand touches it. So I do a lot of desensitizing. If he's anticipating, I just touch instead of lift. And I want the toe lift, and then I lift it up. So I say that a lot, but it's really important so you don't get that kicking motion. So this looks fantastic. And from this point, I can really just start adding time. So I can hold it for like 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and build up from here. So a couple seconds, click while it's in the air, and then go ahead and feed. And then that's where I build it up to. And then about 10, 20 seconds, depending on how you feel comfortable, then I can go ahead start moving my hands. So I'll need 2 hands to hold it, and then I'll work on just maneuvering it, manipulating it a little bit more. So I'll hold it with both hands, and then I'll start moving the hoof around, and then I'll start tapping the hoof, and then I'll introduce the hoof pick, and you'll see all that in the next mini videos, is all the steps I take to teach him it. So, but that's kind of the process. And there he kind of moved away, not a big deal. I'm just gonna go with it. He did listen. He did take his weight off and do that. It just wasn't perfect, and that's okay. But I like just being on the other side of this block. That was really nice. Might look ridiculous. That's all right. I'd rather not get kicked. So, and it's, I could still get kicked. Obviously, that's not the most like best barrier, I guess, but it's a little bit. So, and then I can kind of stay out of the way. But that looks pretty good. I'm really happy with that. Go ahead and do this side. Same kind of thing. I just do like a little stroking, and then I can ask, yep, for that nice lift off, or nice weight coming off of the foot. And I like how he's still resting his toe there. That looks beautiful. And then I can kind of just manipulate it around and pull it around. It looks great. Super stuff. So it's a little bit boring probably because of the last video was very similar. But lifting the feet can just be one of those things that's tricky for a lot of horses, and it's just nice to break it down and see the whole process so you know what steps you can take, because there are a lot of little steps that you don't really think about. You just think about picking up the foot and then picking it out. So there, because I kind of moved it and it ended up in a different location than where I started, just kind of moving it around a little bit more. He dropped his treat there. But I love his body language. He's nice and relaxed. I think he had something in his nose or his mouth or something. But I love his neck position. His ears are moving softly. He's chewing. Like he's just super relaxed. So that looks great.